Devagiri. It's written by a very famous Indian poet. The name of the poet is Gieve Patel, and the poem is On Killing a Tree. This poem, On Killing a Tree, has a lot of significance. The poem helps the readers understand the magnitude of cruelty that is shown to trees as human beings cut or fell trees. The poet, just like an environmentalist, speaks about the necessity of being eco-friendly, speaks to us about the significance of being good, kind, and loving to the trees, the plants, the birds, the butterflies, and all the living things around us, specifically the trees. And the poem On Killing a Tree tells us about the sequence of murder of trees. The poem is a very simple poem and it helps us understand the way a tree is killed. So here the tree is not just a tree. The poet gives a personality to the tree. The tree is treated as a person, just like a human being. And the pain the tree undergoes is the pain a human being undergo. Let us just look at the biographical details of this great Indian poet Gieve Patel. First, afterwards we'll recite and discuss the poem. This poem, in fact, is prescribed for the students of the second semester undergraduate course, BA, BSc, BCom students of the University of Calicut. It is included in the course Zeitgeist, Readings on Society and Culture. It's edited by Robin Xavier, Ismail Sekuria, Devagiri M. And in this course, we have different modules, and the poem is from the module 2 on sustainable environment. Now we will just look at the biographical details of the poet Gieve Patel. I'm just reading from the course Zeitgeist. Gieve Patel is one of the prominent Indian writers in English. He was born in Mumbai and educated at Xavier's High School and Grand Medical College, Mumbai. He is employed as a medical practitioner in Mumbai at present and conducts workshops on poetry for students. Patel belongs to a group of writers who have subscribed themselves to the Green Movement, which is involved in an effort to protect the environment. His poems speak of deep concerns for nature and expose man's cruelty to nature. Patel's work include poems 1966, How Do You Withstand? How Do You Withstand? Body. These two titles were published in 1976. How Do You Withstand? Body. And Mirroring in the year 1991. He has also written 3 plays titled Princess Savatsa and Mr. Bahram. He is a painter too and has conducted several exhibitions of his paintings in India and abroad. His poems have appeared in the New Writing in India, Illustrated Weekly of India, Poetry India, and Young Commonwealth Poets. The dominant and persisting concerns in Patel's poetry, according to Arundhati Subramanian, are the besieged terrain of the human body, its frailty, absurdity, and perishability, the vulgar social inequalities of caste, class that continue to assail post independence India, the predicament of the subaltern, especially the uh, subaltern who are perennially relegated to the sidelines of history and art, the daily catalogue of violence, conflict, and pain that make up the century's folk song, the perpetual looming shadow of physical death, and a probing curiosity about what, if anything, lies beyond a world of fraught materiality. On Killing a Tree, included in the collection Poems, which was launched by the famous poet Nizim Ezekiel, describes man's cruelty to trees, symbolic of nature, with irony and detachment. The step by step process in annihilating the tree is minutely portrayed in the poem. The tree has grown slowly, consuming the earth. It has become strong, absorbing air, water, and sunshine. It has rooted itself deep into the soil. Hence, mere acts of hacking and chopping can't destroy the tree. It has remarkable powers of resilience. So man decides to pull out the root itself and cuts the tree into convenient pieces. His torture of the felled tree continues by scorching and choking it in the sun and air, and by browning and hardening it through various chemical processes. Man is not unaware of the benefits of tree in life, but his greed for wealth has made him utterly callous and insensitive. Though the poem provides step by step instructions for destroying the tree, its implied message is against killing trees. The poem underlines the resilience of nature in spite of human violence against it. Patel employs irony and sarcasm to convey his anger against environmental destruction. However, the poem is open for multiple interpretations. It seems to speak of persistence if we want to eradicate a problem. The source of the problem needs to be removed for its total eradication. The language of the poem On Killing a Tree is simple, and the diction has remarkable evocative power. The poem is an apt commentary on a major environmental issue, mindless deforestation of the human that human beings face today. Quite characteristic of Patel, the tone of the poem is flat, dispassionate, even offhand, wary of any attempt to ennoble, prettify, or sentimentalize the subject matter. Now, let us recite the poem, and afterwards we will just discuss the poem. On Killing a Tree. It takes much time to kill a tree. Not a simple jab of the knife will do it. Just grown, slowly consuming the earth, rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous eye sprouting leaves. So hack and chop, but this alone won't do it. Not so much pain will do it. The bleeding bark will heal, and from close to the ground will rise curled green twigs, miniature boughs, which, if unchecked, will expand again to former size. No, the root is to be pulled out of the angering earth. It is to be wrapped, tied, and pulled out, snapped out, or pulled out entirely out from the earth cave, and the strength of the tree exposed, the source white and wet, the most sensitive hidden for years inside the earth. Then the matter of scorching and choking in sun and air, browning, hardening, twisting, withering, and then it is done. So this is the poem on killing a tree by Gieve Patel. So as we understand, Gieve Patel very, very vividly describes the step-by-step process of annihilating, destroying, killing a tree. It is not easy to kill a tree. It's a very difficult task. It takes much time to kill a tree, the very opening. We need to take too much time, or we need a lot of time to kill a tree. Not a simple jab of the knife will do it. It's not easy to cut a tree, to kill a tree with a single cut. It has grown slowly. Why? Because a tree or any tree has grown slowly, consuming the earth. The tree has been consuming the earth, water, mineral, and all the nutritious and the protein and everything that the tree needs, the minerals, the fertilizers, the water, and all that the soil can give was consumed by, eaten by the tree, and it has grown very slowly. It was there for many, many years. It has grown slowly, consuming the earth, and the tree just, the very seed of the tree just sprouted up out of the earth, and it became a small sapling, and later the sapling grew taller and taller and taller, and from 2 feet to 5 feet to 10 feet to 20, 50, 100, the tree became a huge tree, a gigantic, colossal figure. Some trees are very huge, slowly consuming the earth, rising out of it, feeding upon its crust. Yeah, the roots of the tree are fixed in the crust of the earth, feeding upon the crust, absorbing years of sunlight. We have photosynthesis. The sunlight falls on the green leaves of the branches on the tree, and we have the process of photosynthesis and absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous hide sprouting leaves. So if you observe a tree every day, or if you observe any tree closely, you can see that we have the outer bark or the hard skin, and the hard skin of any tree, no matter whether it is a teak wood, mahogany, or a jackfruit tree, or a sequoia tree, or an olive tree, or any tree, you can see the outer bark is like leprous hide. And here, leprous hide is a very poetic expression used by Gieve Patel. Leprous hide comes from the very disease, leprosy. And leprous refers to resembling leprosy. See, the outer bark of the tree is looking like uh, a patient's having leprosy. And the poet, now that the hard bark is rather irregular. There are, of course, some uh, very tough bark. All right, and it refers to, so the poet refers to the little, small, little buds rising from the outer bark of the skin as leprous, out of which leprous hide sprouting leaves. Leaves come out of the hard bark of the tree. So the tree has been growing on the crust, the outer cover of the earth for many years, and it is not very easy to kill a tree. It takes much time to kill a tree. Not a simple jab of the knife will do it. Has grown slowly, consuming the earth, rising out of it, feeding upon its crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous hide, sprouting leaves. So hack and chop, but this alone won't do it. Not so much pain will do it. The bleeding bark will heal, and from close to the ground will rise curl green twigs, miniature boughs, which, if unchecked, will expand again to the former size. Second stanza, the poet continues the same idea that it's not easy to kill a tree. So, now that the tree has grown on the crust of the earth for many years, we have to do many or a lot of things to kill a tree. What are that? Hack and chop, cut the tree, hack and chop, but this alone won't do it. Hacking and chopping alone won't kill the tree. Not so much pain will do it. You cut the tree bleeds. The tree suffers from so much pain, but so much pain and bleeding will not kill the tree. Not so much pain will do it. The bleeding bark will heal, and from close to the ground will rise curled green twigs, miniature boughs, which, if unchecked, will expand again to former size. So now it is very difficult to kill a tree. We have to cut it, we have to hack it, we have to chop it. And when we do just all this, like hacking and chopping and all, okay, it will bleed, it will suffer some pain, but from beneath the cut, from somewhere close to the ground, small new buds will rise, and these new buds will grow into big branches. And if you don't cut these branches, these miniature boughs, small branches, the tree is grow will going the tree will again grow into the former size. So because of that reason, the poet Gieve Patel says that it is not easy to kill a tree. No. Now, this is not enough. We have to do something else. This alone will not do it, right? So, no, other than cutting and chopping and hacking, root is to be pulled out. The root is to be pulled out. This is very important. So, we have to pull out the root of the tree if we want to kill it. And not over. So, what will happen? What is the size, or what do you see when you uproot a tree? The root is to be pulled out of the anchoring earth. The tree has been anchoring in the crust of the earth. So the tree was, of course, rooted down on the crust. So from the anchoring earth, now we have to uproot it from the anchoring earth. The tree was rooted and fixed on the crust. So it is said anchoring earth. It is to be rocked. Now with a rock, we have to tie the rock to the bottom roots of the maybe the trunk of the tree, and it is to be rocked tied and pulled out. So we have to pull it out. So when we pull out a tree from the anchoring earth, the roots will break. All the roots will break. It is to be pulled out, snapped out, or pulled out entirely out from the earth cave. So when we pull out from the earth cave, we can see, we pull out from the anchoring earth, we can see a cave there, a pit there, a ditch there, and that is the earth cave. And the earth cave is something like the womb of a mother in which a baby is growing. So the tree is growing in the womb. That is, of course, the crust of the earth. So the crust, when we uproot the tree, the surface of the earth is looking like a cave. That is, of course, a womb on one side. Other side, it is just looking like a tomb or a grave. And pulled out entirely out from the earth cave, and the strength of the tree exposed. Now, as the tree is standing vertical on the ground, we don't see the real size of the tree. But when we uproot it and when it is just outstretched on the ground, full, when it is just falling down, full outstretched on the ground, we see the real size, the huge size of the tree. Out from the earth cave, then the strength of the tree exposed, the source. So, what is the strength? The strength, of course, the very size, the huge branches and the huge wood and timber and everything is the strength. And what is the source of the strength of the tree? The water, the white and wet, the most sensitive, hidden for inside the earth. So at the bottom of the tree, we have the roots, big roots, small, hair-like, small, tender roots. So all these are the source of the tree. The strength of the tree exposed, the source, white and wet, the most sensitive, hidden for years inside the earth. So the root, which is wet and white, was hidden inside the earth for hundreds of years or maybe for many years. And that is the source of the tree. So if you want to kill a tree, cut it, cut the branches, chop it, uproot it, and not over. Even after that, you have to continue the process of murdering, killing the tree, and you have to do some chemical processing. Only then the tree will die. So, what are the other tasks that we have to do to kill the tree? Then the matter of scorching and choking in sun and air. So, here the poet is using very, very powerful vocabulary, diction, like the matter of scorching in sunlight, burning in sunlight, scorching. Okay, scorching refers to burning in high heat, intensity, high intensity. So we have to burn the tree, scorching and choking. Choking refers to just strangling someone to death, suffocating, stifling, that is choking, scorching and choking. Now that the root is just cut off, snapped out, the tree has been uprooted and the tree cannot just breathe. That is, it cannot suck in water. It cannot just, it is slowly, slowly dying. So choking and scorching in sun and air, browning, and after scorching and choking, we have to brown, chemical process, browning the wood, the tree, hardening. Okay, so we keep the wood, the timber in water and sunlight for many days, and after that the timber will be very, very firm and strong, and that process is hardening, twisting. Okay, so we may have to just, there may be some very curling, zigzagging portions of the tree. So all that has to be twisted and withering. So after this process of scorching, choking, and browning and hardening, twisting and withering, the tree is killed. And that is very, very, very vividly and painfully described by Gieve Patel. Then the matter of scorching and choking in sun and air, browning, hardening, twisting, withering, and then it is done. So Gieve Patel very, very effectively and successfully represents or delineates how the tree is killed, and the tree is also undergoing so much of pain as it is killed. Now we will just look at the questions and answers. In which collection was the poem On Killing a Tree originally published? The poem On Killing a Tree was originally published in Poems. The option A is the answer. Second question, what does the word hide mean in leprous hide? The word hide in leprous hide refers to the skin of the tree. The skin of the tree. Now we have answer in one or two sentence. Comment on the opening line of the poem On Killing a Tree. The opening lines of the poem On Killing a Tree is, it takes much time to kill a tree, not a simple jab of the knife. The opening line helps the reader understand the fact that it is not easy to kill a tree all on a sudden. Next question. Why does the poet say that a simple jab of the knife will not kill a tree? The poet says that a simple jab of the knife will not kill a tree because the tree is very big. It has been growing on the crust of the earth, the anchoring earth, for many years, and it's very huge. And maybe when we cut a branch, there are other branches, and if at all we cut all the branches from underneath the branch that is cut from underneath that very cutting, new miniature branches will rise, and it is not easy to kill a tree. The miniature branches or boughs of the tree will again grow into maybe the former size. If not prevented, it will of course grow into maybe a colossal or gigantic size. So the poet says that it is not easy to kill a tree with a simple jab of the knife. Next question. Why does the poet try to teach us how to kill a tree? The poet, Gieve Patel, is trying to teach the readers understand the process of killing a tree, because he doesn't want anyone to cut a tree. He doesn't want anyone to fell a tree. And Gieve Patel, through this poem, helps the readers understand the fact that the process of killing a tree is a very painful process. The tree is also a person. And maybe when we have a disease, maybe when we have headache, or when we have a small wound in our body, our entire body aches. Similarly, when one of the branches of the tree is cut, it is bleeding and it suffers from so much of pain. So normally it is not easy to kill a tree, but we people, in the name of developmental projects, housing, construction, many kind of developmental projects, we just fell trees. And poet wants to help the readers understand the fact that it's a very, very painful, it's very painful for trees when they are cut. And poet doesn't want anyone to cut a tree. He doesn't want anyone to fell a tree because it's very, very painful. So in order to help the readers understand the fact that it is a very painful and difficult process, killing a tree that he has written this poem. So a tree is growing up on the crust of the earth, not to be killed, not to die, but to live a life, a very long life. So we have to care for the living things around us, no matter whether it is tree, a plant, or a weed, grass, or the animals, birds, and other creatures. Everything must be there. Otherwise, life is going to be very, very difficult on this earth. And Gieve Patel speaks like a person who is a champion of the environmental issues. Next question, fourth question. What does the poet say of the resiliatory power of trees? The poet says that the trees have great resiliatory power. If at all we cut the tree from close to the ground, miniature curled green twigs will rise. Okay, so hack and chop, but this alone won't do it. So much pain will not do it. The bleeding bark will heal, and close to the ground will rise curled green twigs, miniature boughs, which, if not checked, will expand again to former size. From this, we understand that the it's not easy to kill a tree. Trees have great resiliatory powers. Next question: what does the poet mean by anchoring earth and earth cave? Anchoring earth refers to the earth on which the tree was fixed or the tree was growing. The tree was, of course, rooted on the earth, and now the tree could just stand on the earth because it was just it was anchoring, right? Rather, it was rooted on. It had a firm grip on the earth, and nothing could, no wind could, no storm could uproot the tree. So it is said, anchoring earth. Normally, we anchor a ship. With anchor, you can stop a ship. Similarly, here, the roots of the tree went down to the crust of the earth, and the tree was just standing vertical on the ground. So it is anchoring earth. And now, when we uproot the tree, and when we are uprooting the tree, you can see the roots, the bottom, extreme bottom, that is where we have the roots of the tree, is just on the ground, and that entire area from where the true tree has been uprooted is looking like a cave, and it is earth cave, and the tree, when it was a seed, was down there in the earth. It grew into a sapling. It grew up. It became bigger and bigger and bigger. And now, after uprooting the huge tree, the earth is looking like a cave. You have a dip there, a pit there, a ditch there, and that is something like the womb of the earth. It is something like the womb of a mother. It is something like a grave or a tomb. Different levels of symbolism in that great image. Now we come to the next question, that is, what does the poet mean by the strength of the tree exposed? So now the tree is cut, the tree is uprooted, and it is lying flat on the earth, fully stretched. And we can see the entire timber, entire wood, the branches, the roots, and all this is the strength of the tree. The branches, the huge tree, the trunk, the roots, all that is the strength of the tree. The bottom, huge and gigantic, looking at us. And that is the strength of the tree. It is exposed. We can see that. Now, Next question, what does the poet mean by the last line, and then it is done? And then it is done refers to the very death of the tree. The process of killing the tree has ended. The tree is dead. It is no more alive. It can no more live. So after cutting, uprooting, scorching, choking, browning, hardening, twisting, and withering, it is done. Tree is no more alive. It has been killed. Next question. What is the tone of Gieve Patel's poem on killing a tree? The tone of this poem on killing a tree is very detached, and of course, rather cynical, satirical tone. And of course, there is some blistering criticism again. The poet is Gieve Patel is criticizing people who kill trees, and we understand the image or the images that are developed in the poem are rather violent and grotesque, cutting, bleeding, dying, scorching, choking. Okay, so it is very cynical, critical, blaming kind of tone. Comment on the imagery in the bleeding bark. The imagery in the bleeding bark is, of course, very. It is not maybe an image of the woods or the plants, but it's an image from maybe human beings, like bleeding bark. Bleeding is often happening to men, women, or animals. You say somebody is wounded, somebody is bleeding. So here, when we say bleeding bark, it refers to the identity of the tree as a person. The poet is just looking at the tree as a person, an individual, and like maybe you are bleeding, the tree is also bleeding. So that is the very powerful image. Gieve Patel tells us that we do not kill a tree, we do not cut a tree, we are cutting or killing a personality, somebody like a human being. Don't do that. So the next question, no, the paragraph questions, the step-by-step process needed for killing a tree. That is, of course, the entire poem. That is cutting, then hacking, chopping, then, of course, uprooting, then, of course, scorching, choking, browning, hardening, twisting, withering. All this will come under the process of killing a tree. Next question, why is it not an easy job to kill a tree? It's not easy to kill a tree because from the bottom, or rather from close to the ground, small miniature buds will rise up, and the tree will of course grow into former size. And the poet says that it is not easy to kill a tree. Next question, comment on the language of the poem. The poem on killing a tree of Gieve Patel is written in simple English. It's written in simple vocabulary. It's simple in, I mean, every line, all the vocabulary items are simple, and the choice of words are very familiar vocabulary items. And although very simple, it has a lot of suggestiveness. There's a lot of evocative quality. The poem is suggesting great meanings other than the verbal meaning. Although it is about a tree, we feel that it's not about a tree. We think that the tree is something like a person, something like a human being. The tree has the same feelings, same emotions of a human being. So when the tree is cut, the tree is undergoing acute pain. So it is written in very simple and very powerful contemporary lexicon, and that is the great power of the poetry of Gieve Patel, especially this poem On Killing a Tree. Next, what is the message of On Killing a Tree? The message of On Killing a Tree is never cut a tree. When we cut a tree, the tree undergoes so much pain, so please don't do it. Don't hurt trees. Don't cause so much pain to trees. They are our brothers and sisters. Trees are like human beings. Let us not harm them. Now we have the essay question. On Killing a Tree describes man's cruelty and violence to nature. Discuss. Yes, this is a very textual question and it is quite simple and easy to understand. This poem is about the very cruelty and violence of man on earth. It's about felling trees. It's about cutting trees. It's about uprooting trees. It's about the great pain the trees undergo. And the poet is asking us to stop being cruel to trees, to stop being cruel to other creatures, to stop being cruel to, of course, everything in the universe, because the universe, or rather the earth, is not a place for human beings alone. It's a place for all the living organisms. So let's not harm any trees or anything. Next question. How does Gieve Patel employ irony as a poetic device in On Killing a Tree? In fact, irony is saying one thing and implying or meaning the opposite of that. Okay, so in this poem, we have a lot of ironic references. The poem is completely ironic from the beginning till the end. So when the poet says, it takes much time to kill a tree, not a simple jab of the knife will do it. We have so much of irony. Okay, it takes much time to kill a tree. What he means by that is, maybe, of course, yeah, we can cut a tree very quickly with an axe, or maybe with a machine we can cut, but we understand that the tree is not cut forever. It will grow up again. Okay, so similarly, references like slowly consuming the earth. How does the tree consume the earth? That's a question again, right? Consuming the earth, then again absorbing years of sunlight. So hack and chop. But maybe we think that, okay, are we really hacking and chopping? Hacking and chopping is done to something that is, of course, living, right? So we understand that, yes. So throughout the poem, we have irony and ending again, then it is done. Then it is done. What does it mean? Yeah, it's done. It's done. Yes, you have completed your task, that is to kill a tree. It is done. It's done. The tree has been killed after a series of cruelty. Very, very powerful point, which is asking us to be eco-friendly. Okay, so with this, we come to the end of the discussion of the poem On Killing a Tree. Thanks a lot for listening. May God bless you. Bye bye.